Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another episode of Planeswalking with the Professors. Thanks to the hundreds of comments and emails left for me by the myriad of sites, including the mathematical breakdown and numerical assignment of all the cards in the Elemental deck, their synergies, and how to fix what's in there, we'll be taking a look back at the Elementals deck 2009 2.2, as well as the gameplay against an unjanked Fairies player, and some wacky new combo options for Conflict Standard. So let's draw. Before we get into the nit and grit of dissecting the Elementals deck, to all who question the playtesting results, the many there were many who question how it was that I rode the Elementals deck to a 9-1 record. My justification is this. For anyone that has never played a deck before and just picks it up, I can guarantee that no one will play the deck perfectly. However, over the course of the extensive and grandiose efforts put into the thought, percentages, and playtesting of the deck, you will be, if nothing else, better. Second was the question of why the deck runs 26 lands, and the challenge to that is majorly because of the fact it couldn't run out its creatures fast enough, and therefore it could never beat Fairies. But particularly against Fairies, I challenge it with this. In your opening hand, you will be fine with keeping a 4-land, 3-spell hand, just so long as one of those business spells is a Smoke Raider and the other is a optimal 5-drop. Against Fairies, there is no defense against the second turn Smoke Raider, save if they happen to cast a Broken Ambitions. But here's the thing, the percentages are on your side because you don't have 4 Smoke Raiders, you have 8. And you don't just have 4 optimal 5-drops in the form of Horde of Notions, but you have 16, all of which are tutorable Elementals. Additionally, an Elementals deck could more easily mulligan to find a Smoke Raider than a Fairies deck could mulligan to find a Broken Ambitions. And as for any questions about what happens if Fairies does get the counter streak, well, this just comes down to playing strategically, judging the percentages that your opponent has a castable counter, that they can deal with your answer, and even if Bitter Blossom does put a clock on you, you always have the 3 main deck and uncounterable Volcanic Fallouts, Cloud Threshers, and 4 sideboarded Scattershot Archers. Against other decks with often less predictable plays, such as Red Deck Wins, small decisions like if they have a Mog Fanatic, you have a Flamekin Harbinger, a Smoke Raider, a Horde of Notions in hand, and a second turn kill spell, it is more optimal to just kill the Mog Fanatic. In Magic, all cards have equal worth, however, because of what deck builders put together, because of the synergies that we have so much fun forging, Smoke Raider is worth infinitely more than a Mog Fanatic and a generic burn spell, because it isn't just a Smoke Raider, it's a 4th turn Cloud Thresher. And before we get into the fine-tuning of this deck, is Mael the Anima a good card? Flip over a Maelstrom Angel, anyone? Put Progenitus into play free? Sure, it's as simple as kill the Mael or the Bloom Tender and the game's over, but I think we'll be seeing this money vacuum, somewhere in the near future. But until then, let's check out this revamped 5-color Elementals. Hello everybody, and this is the Elementals deck we'll be taking a look at. For the record, the reason you saw didn't see my face, and just saw the torso shot in the last episode was because that, awkwardly enough, I didn't have enough things to support the camera, and I don't have a tripod at the moment. So, we'll be taking a look at the Elementals deck. I guess you can see it's still 26 lands, the deck still needs the support. I did have an issue last week where I had 2 mountains of one type and 2 mountains of another type from another set. We did change up the deck slightly. We took out the Thornlings, and we put in the 3rd and 4th Revelark, because Revelark's just amazing. It's Flamekin Harbinger tutorable. It's fantastic for that. And we took out the Fire Spouts, put in Volcanic Fallouts, and we put in our only non-elemental creature, which is Scattershot Archer, which does a fantastic job of clearing Fairies, which we really needed, because quite frankly, the 3 Volcanic Fallouts wasn't quite enough, and I mean, the Cloud Threshers were really good. One thing I just want to comment on is that the 4 Fire Spouts will be switched out for Nova Chasers, because it's just, I don't particularly like how this deck does against aggro all the time. So here's the final list, and let's test the deck out. Okay, we finally found a Fairies player after about 5 minutes. Plays a Secluded Glen tapped, and says go. Put a Vivid Crag into play, because we have Smoke Raider, and we're going to say go. And a tap 2 for Bitter Blossom, so here's the play you guys wanted. Unfortunately for him, we have 2 Cloud Threshers in hand, so yeah. Honestly, I would have kept this hand even if it didn't have the Cloud Threshers, but that's nice. Smoke Raider, he can have no response. We're going to say go. Terra's a Smoke Raider. Okay, Muldrifter, worth casting for now. We deck another Smoke Braider, so we can get a turn 5 Horde, turn 5 Cloud Thresher, which is nice. Although he's also getting a big chance to get more lands. He clicks. I'm tapped. I can't Volcanic Fallout, so... We had this Reflecting Pools last turn, we might have been able to, but that wouldn't have been a possibility. Good news is we can still safely cast Shriekmaw as of now, and we could cast the... I think it's going to go Shriekmaw Smoke Braider at this point. He's going to swing for 5. Fortunately, he also has enough to Cryptic right now. We're going to attempt to cast Shriekmaw for 2. Yep, there we go. We're going to try to Smoke Braider. Pepper smokes the Smoke Braider. Just fine. I mean, we have these... We have 5 lands. He clicks. Ooh, we have the 2 Cloud Threshers. He's going to see that. Now we're going to have to cast it next turn if we do draw in case of a counterspell. Good, we draw land, but it's a tap land, so that's irrelevant. So it looks like we're going to be fallouting on his turn. Harbinger, Spellstutter. Ponders. He's clearly looking for a Cryptic here because he knows we have the Cloud Thresher. He knows we're going to cast it next turn. We're going to have to hope we can cast it right now because if we can't, and honestly, we're just going to try to cast it right now because he's got 2 cards, which gives him less of a chance of getting them next turn. Clicking again. He can Broken Ambitions or remove Soul, but he can't Broken now, so it's fine. Cloud Thresh. So there you have it. That's an exemplary game where he got the Bitter Blossom that was before sideboard. The deck can pretty much always handle that because of the Cloud Threshers in there. So until next time, this is Anthony Palmario. Tapped out for now, but we'll be back soon. But before we go, a short vocalization of what I meant to say in last week's show. When I said that I dislike cards that draw cards, what I meant in fact to say is that I dislike cards that draw more cards. On playback of watching the episode, I caught myself, but the final file had been shipped off to YouTube and MTGcast by then, and so I was forced to contend with the commenters who criticized the I don't like to draw cards theory, and rightfully so. But allow me to reiterate. Chris Otwell pointed out that in Magic, card advantage is not everything. Mark Rosewater had previously said that in Magic, all top decks need an engine, card advantage, and mana acceleration. I redefine mana acceleration here by changing that to tempo. This has been, fact is, one of the reasons that blue is the best color of Magic. Because while every color has an engine of some sort, with the seldom exception, but in this metagame's case of blue, but blue has always shown out the obvious power of card draw and tempo control. Wizards is attempting to fix this with new and improved mana acceleration in green, spot removal in white and black, and alternative card advantage in red. And thus, by doing so and keeping a constant balance allows all colors to be equal. But that last paragraph was a little vague, and so the question still remains, why cut the Esper Charm? Well, my answer is that yes, it draws cards, but I take Muldrifter with an alternative casting cost on the 3rd turn for 2 cards over an Esper Charm even at instant speed, almost always at 4th. Second, while the discard ability is nice, it doesn't lend to the overall use of the deck, and quite frankly, if you're versing an aggro deck and they have 2 cards in their hand, they're probably doing something that's beating you anyway, in which case Bant Charm is the more optimal choice. And this will never ever happen against a control deck save post-Cruel Ultimatum game states, and that's pretty irrelevant. And maybe it's just me, but when Chapin said that fairies would still be 1/3 of the metagame, I had to disagree. Volcanic Fallout plus Cloud Thresher plus Scattershot Archers, all of which can be wielded in 5-color control, is in fact just too much for a fairies player. And fact is, even if it does involve you trading points with your opponent in the early game, it's better for them to lose a life and have tokens than fall out and go ahead. Okay,
right now?
Where's Black Bolt?
Black Bolt's... Black Bolt... I didn't say I didn't say... That's probably what you're doing? Like, I didn't say that stuff.
I need some power thirst!
Yeah.
You got some more energy than you really need?
Power thirst.
Power thirst! More energy than you could possibly need! Cause it's infused with lightning!
But you gotta watch Power Thirst. Like this needs to be the little PSSSS at the end of the thing.
What's the PSSSS? SSSSSS.
The Professors is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, MTGMintCard.com, CardHorder.com, and Jiffy's Photo and Baseball Cards. Shards of Alara is here and known, and it looks extremely tasty, so have your mouse on the order button at TrollandToad.com, MTGMintCard.com, and CardHorder.com, or support the show and head on down to Jiffy's Photo and Baseball Cards today.